Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving straight into, well, some of cricket's most powerful stories.
Okay, so where do we start? Geographical barriers seem like a good place.
Like MS Dhoni. Think about Ranchi back then.
Yeah, not exactly a cricketing hotspot on the national map.
Not at all. And while he's working that railway job, a ticket examiner, he's developing this, well, unique technique.
Yeah, unique is one word for it. Unconventional, certainly.
And the traditionalists, the purists, they weren't having it at first, were they?
Not really. It didn't fit the mold. You wonder, though, maybe coming from outside that mainstream, maybe not having that classic coaching.
Actually allowed that style to develop.
Could be.
Yeah.
It definitely challenged what people thought a top player should look like, how they should play.
It did. And then came that innings. Pakistan, 2005. 148.
Oh, yeah. That was the moment, wasn't it?
A total watershed. Suddenly, you couldn't ignore talent from places like Ranchi anymore.
No way. And his leadership later on, it just cracked things open for players from all sorts of non-traditional areas.
So that whole journey, from the railway quarters to lifting the World Cup, it wasn't just his journey.
No, it symbolized a real shift in Indian cricket. How they looked for talent, who got a chance.
Dhoni's success really did force a wider view.
Okay, let's jump over to Australia. David Warner.
Different background again. Sydney's eastern suburbs, but very working class.
Right. Dad worked in a factory, Warner himself stacking shelves in a supermarket.
A world away from the usual Aussie cricket pathway. The elite schools, the academies.
And the really striking thing about him early on, first Aussie in, 130-odd years?
Yeah, something like that. To play for Australia without playing first-class cricket first.
Unheard of. His batting was just so explosive, so undeniable, that the selectors basically had to rip up the rule book.
Right.
They had to admit talent could come through different doors.
And his story has that whole second chapter, too, doesn't it? After the 2018 scandal?
Oh, absolutely. Sandpaper Gate. Many thought that was it for his international career. Done.
A year-long ban, huge fallout.
Massive. So for him to come back, find form again, and then get player of the tournament at the 2021 T20 World Cup.
That's some comeback.
It really is. It's not just overcoming his background, it's fighting back from disgrace. Says a lot about his mental strength.
Double transformation, almost. Okay, one more in this section. Dale Steyn.
Ah, the Stain Gun.
Thalabora.
Yeah, tiny mining town, way off the beaten track in South Africa.
Miles from the big cricket centers.
And his family backed him, but resources were tight and there wasn't like a clear pathway from there.
No obvious route at all.
Yeah.
It's amazing he became one of the all-time great fast bowlers, really, without that elite school system or specialized coaching early on. It seems like it was just raw talent, honed in this relatively isolated place, plus that family support. And he goes from that small town to being South Africa's leading test wicket taker.
Incredible. Just shows, doesn't it? Talent can absolutely break through no matter where it starts.
Okay, so we've seen geographical hurdles. Let's shift focus now to, well, even tougher situations, extreme adversity. Let's talk about Yashasvi Jaswal. The start to his story is just, wow.
It really is. He leaves his village at 11, alone.
11 years old, travels to Mumbai, chasing the cricket dream with basically nothing. No money, no support system waiting.
And then lives in tents on the Azad Maidan for nearly 3 years.
Just imagine that. While trying to practice cricket seriously, selling pani puri on the side.
Just to make maybe 200 rupees a day, something tiny.
Barely enough to eat. Dealing with floods in the tent, no proper food, no proper rest.
It's hard to even comprehend that level of hardship for someone trying to become a professional athlete. Puts everything else in perspective.
And yet, somehow, he kept going. Just relentless dedication. Then, the turning point.
Coach Dwala Singh finds him.
Yeah. Sees the talent, takes him in, becomes his legal guardian, gives him shelter, coaching, support, everything he needed.
That intervention was crucial. And it leads to him starring in the U19 World Cup in 2020, player of the tournament.
And now you see him scoring a test century on debut, playing those incredible innings against England.
It's an unbelievable arc, from the tent on the Maidan to test cricket. It shows incredible resilience, but also, how much difference that one opportunity, that one person believing in you can make.
Absolutely. Testament to his will, definitely. Okay, Hardik Pandya. Another story of, well, incredible family sacrifice.
Yeah, this one revolves around his parents, particularly his father.
His dad closed down his small business, right?
He did. To focus entirely on his sons' cricket, Hardik and Krunal. The whole family moved to a smaller place in Baroda.
Just prioritizing the boys' cricket above their own financial stability, that's huge.
It really is. Imagine the pressure, the commitment,
Yeah.
practicing with borrowed gear, Dad acting as coach, mentor, everything, while money's tight.
Shows how vital that family bedrock can be, even when things are tough.
Definitely. And look where Hardik got to. IPL captain, big money contracts, crucial all-rounder for India.
But his path wasn't smooth sailing either, was it? There was that controversy in 2019.
The chat show stuff, yeah. And then those serious back injuries. Real career-threatening stuff.
Looked like he might struggle to bowl again properly at one point.
Exactly. So for him to come back from all that, lead a brand new team, Gujarat Titans, to the IPL title in their first season.
That's layered, isn't it? It's overcoming the early poverty and overcoming the controversies and overcoming major injury.
It really underscores that mental toughness again. Multiple comebacks rolled into one.
The level of sacrifice from his parents, though, that's the foundation. Truly inspiring. Now let's talk about systemic barriers. Ravindra Jadeja comes to mind. From Navagam Khed, small village in Gujarat.
Definitely had to fight against those regional and maybe even class biases.
Lost his mother young, his dad was a security guard. So the support was there, but basic, not the resources others had.
No elite facilities to hone those amazing all-round skills he has.
And there were doubts about him initially, weren't there? About his temperament, his technique.
There were. Even that nickname, Sir Jadeja. Apparently it started online, almost mockingly, hinting at those prejudices.
Right. But he just performed so consistently, so brilliantly.
That eventually the nickname became a genuine badge of honor. He basically played his way past the skepticism. Performance trumped prejudice.
Then there's Mohammed Shami. His early days in Kolkata sound incredibly tough.
Yeah, moved there from his village when he was 18, earning like 500 rupees on match days.
While sleeping in tents, again, tents, on the Kolkata Maidan.
It's hard to picture someone with that level of natural talent living like that.
And maybe, just maybe, developing that lethal reverse swing.
In those harsh, dusty conditions. It's possible. Talent adapting, finding a way.
And he rises from that to play for India. But then he faces those very public, personal problems, injury setbacks too.
Multiple battles. So for him to come back and be the top wicket taker at the 2023 World Cup.
Wow. Just phenomenal psychological strength after everything he'd been through.
It really is. Okay, who else fits this mold?
How about Sanath Jayasuriya from Matara in Sri Lanka?
Oh yeah, way down south. Far from Colombo, the center of everything cricket-wise.
Limited family money. Apparently, his school principal had to step in.
To convince his parents.
Yeah, to let him pursue cricket, seriously.
And those bus journeys he took.
Yeah.
4 hours each way to Colombo for practice or matches.
Just highlights that gap again, doesn't it, between the center and the talent out in the regions.
Absolutely. And think about his transformation. He started as a pretty standard lower-order spinner who could bat a bit.
Yeah, nothing too remarkable initially.
And then, 1996 World Cup. He completely revolutionizes opening the batting in ODIs. Total game changer.
Shows how someone from outside the established system can actually reimagine the whole game.
Exactly. And one more maybe. Rovman Powell from Jamaica.
Good shout. Old Harbor, Jamaica. Another story built on huge family sacrifice.
Single mom, working multiple jobs, just to keep things afloat.
Basic necessities were a struggle. And from that, he rises up, captains the West Indies, gets those big T20 league contracts.
That's another powerful example. These stories, taken together, they just show how deep those systemic barriers can run.
But also the power of talent and sheer bloody-mindedness to break through them.
Yeah, it makes you realize how important it is to look beyond the usual places, the usual types.
Absolutely. Okay, final piece of the puzzle then. What happens after they make it? The legacy. How do these players give back?
This is crucial, isn't it? When success becomes more than just personal gain, creating pathways for others.
The legacy builders. Back to Dhoni.
His impact went way beyond his own stats, didn't it?
Totally. His rise from Ranchi genuinely sparked a revolution in smaller towns and cities across India. Suddenly, kids there believed it was possible.
And just as importantly, the selectors started paying attention. They had to.
They couldn't ignore those regions anymore. That Dhoni effect, it inspired a whole generation way beyond just cricket fans.
And the biopic helped cement that too, didn't it? Made his story accessible to millions more.
For sure. David Warner, what's he doing?
He's actively involved back in Australia, setting up community programs in working class areas.
Like where he grew up.
Exactly. Getting equipment, coaching to kids who might not otherwise get access. It's a direct response to the barriers he faced.
Good on him. And Dale Steyn.
He's investing back in South Africa, specifically focusing on fast bowling talent in those remote areas.
Like Phalaborwa, the mining towns.
Yeah, places like where he started. And apparently, his coaching focuses more on spotting that raw, natural talent, maybe less on textbook technique.
Interesting. Playing to the strengths that isolation might have fostered in him.
Perhaps
Mm.
creating pathways for kids from similar backgrounds.
And Jaiswal, after what he went through.
He set up his own foundation,
Yeah.
supporting underprivileged young players.
Providing the things he lacked.
Exactly. Housing, kit, education.
Mm.
Directly tackling the problems he experienced firsthand.
That's powerful. Closing the circle.
It is. And Hardik Pandya, too. Goes back to Baroda regularly, looking for talent in poor areas.
Handing out equipment.
Yeah, stuff his family couldn't easily afford back then. His academies are built on the idea that money shouldn't stop kids with potential.
You know, when you look at all these efforts, maybe the biggest legacy isn't even the money or the programs.
What do you mean?
It's the dismantling of those mental barriers, just proving it can be done.
Yeah, providing that living proof, showing kids everywhere that the dream, however unlikely it seems, is actually possible. So we'd love to know what you think. Which story really hit home for you?
Yeah, or are there other cricketers with similar amazing journeys we should maybe talk about next time?
Maybe you've seen stories like this in your own local cricket scene. Let us know.
And does knowing this stuff change how you see a player like...
We're really interested to hear your perspectives. It adds so much.
This has been The Deep Dive. Until next time, remember, behind every boundary, behind every wicket, there might just be an untold story of an extraordinary journey.